guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and much appreciated you guys spending some of your day with me and checking the video out. Guys, today I've got a really cool modification for a tube here. Doesn't matter if you flip a tube or fish it on a jig head, I always modify my tubes like this. I can promise you with this modification, you're gonna land more fish, you're gonna get more bites on your tube, you're gonna get better action on your tube, and I don't have any confidence in the tube unless I use this modification, so we'll get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, two quick things I'd like to remind you before we get started. Please swing by and check out my Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns up on the Fish the Moment website. I'll put the link in the description of this video. These are lake breakdowns I built for fishthemoment.com of lakes all over the country. It's a great resource to get some good spots on your favorite lake that you go to, or if you've never been to a lake, it'll get you some good spots to start out with, along with some overview of the lake, tips and advice on it. So I'll put that link in the description. And also, guys, we have still got the 30% off sale going on with my Solar Bat Series RB2 and RB3 Series sunglasses. 30% off right now, and any purchase over $98, you get a free hard case from Solar Bat. So I'll put that link in the description also. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, I've done some of this stuff before, but I don't know if I've ever done this on advanced bass fishing here. I want to talk about how I modify a tube to just simply get more bites. I'm going to show you a before and after of the modification here. Okay, now here's just a typical flipping tube right here, guys. Most of them have a lot of salt in them. The 4.5-inch tube, fish catching bait, doesn't matter if you Texas rig it or fish it on a jig head. My favorite way to fish a tube is I put it on a 3/16 ounce slip sinker, and I fish a Texas rig, flipping and pitching it around shallow cover. But it's also a really good bait on a jig head for fishing for smallmouth and spotted bass. So here's how I modify it. First of all, guys, we talked about this before. These tubes have a lot of salt in them, so you got to break that salt up. And see, we're going to bring that salt to the surface there. And by doing this, it accomplishes two different things. It makes the bait look different. It makes it look more natural and, something, like the fish like to eat. Sort of takes that shine off of it. But just as importantly is it makes the tube a lot more pliable, because a tube, when it's got a lot of salt in it, it's really hard here. It's hard to get a hook through it. So by taking some time, breaking this salt up, that's a big factor in getting that thing right. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to make a slit in the tube for your hook to go into. Now, my boys I can't keep a pair of scissors around here. The boys take them all the time for projects. So I'm going to take a knife here. But what you want to do, and do this with a pair of scissors, it's a lot easier, is just cut a little slit about, probably, 1/2 inch long or something like that. And this slit is going to allow you to put your hook in, your EWG hook in, where you only have to penetrate one side of the plastic. If you don't do this, you've actually got to put the hook point through two different parts of it. But here, see that opening there? We're going to put that tube hook right through there, like that. And therefore, this inside part of it here is just laying on that opening there, and the only thing that's in the way is this outside part here. So that's a really big tip as far as that, guys. That will help you land a lot more fish on a tube. A tube is sort of notorious for losing fish on it, but by just putting that little slit in there, it's going to go a big way. And then finally, guys, I do not want these tails uniform. I always want to come in and I want to pinch some of them off to make them different lengths here. Now this makes the tube look a lot more natural in the water. Doesn't look quite as perfect. See, it's a little bit, crazy looking there. Bite a little bit off of there, about like that. And then finally, you want to make sure you come in with your tube and make sure the legs are all split, because a lot of times these tube legs, they get stuck together because in the mold they don't come out clean. So make sure that all your, see there's one there, there's two of them stuck together, you can see that. Just take your fingers here and just pull them apart. Separate them there. And get them separated. That way it's going to give you a lot more action with there. So there's the final setup. So here's the before and after, guys. Here is the same tube before, and here is the same tube after, you see with that. You can see it there, you got a little bit a little bit down you can't really see it so in the light good, but the coloration is quite a bit different on this after you rough it up a little bit. You see that a little bit? It just looks a lot more natural in the water. This tube is super soft and pliable. This one's really hard. And I do this to all my tubes, just like that. Again, regardless if it's a Texas rig or a jig head or something, you know, jig head setup there. I'll give you one tip also, guys, Texas rigging a tube. I peg my sinkers most all the time, but for whatever reason, I get a lot more bites on a tube if I do not peg the sinker. So even if I'm pitching it and flipping a tube in some, you know, pretty heavy cover like flooded trees or bushes, I like to leave that sinker unpegged. This was a trick I learned from a couple Arkansas experts like 30 years ago. They say never peg it. And I've tried both, and it just seems like I get more bites without pegging it on there. And also with the tube, you'll get more bites flipping and pitching a tube with a lighter sinker. So the 3/16 and the 1/8 ounce are my two favorite sizes. Usually I'm using 20-pound test Seaguar and Vizex line as the line on this. So anyway, guys, give those a try. I think it'll help you, and we'll talk later.